So many times for me as an entrepreneur, I thought I need to be perfect. No, I just need to do ABI. The process for me is one of the 5 most important elements. And the process is for consistency and for scale. And when you have the process, then it's easier to add all the different layers like AI, automation, integrations, and all of that. Because otherwise you're scaling chaos.
So welcome to the Vision Room, where we explore tools and strategies and mindset shifts that can elevate your brand and vision to the next level. I'm Marcus Miasso, and my co-host, Marcin Ruman, is with me today. Hello, Marcin.
Welcome. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What's up? So we're diving into the secrets of creating automation, right? Today, we're going to talk about automation processes that will supercharge your vision. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the best brand processes, frameworks, and whatnot, how to leverage AI effectively, and tools like CRMs that can transform how you connect with your customers. We'll also discuss mapping out a customer journey that allows you to not only meet, but exceed expectations while empowering your employees to become passion ambassadors of your brand. Because that's key, right? It's, as an entrepreneur, would you agree with me on this, Marcin? As an entrepreneur, your job is to serve your employees so they can super serve your customers. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I think we need to serve everyone. As an entrepreneur, you're serving your shareholders, you're serving your employees, you're serving your clients, you're serving everyone.
Yep. But you're starting out with, as a visionary, as a business owner, your job is to train your employees to super serve your employees and give them the tools they need so they can super serve your customers. Because yes, you will, if you're running the show, in your role, there may be opportunities where you're interfacing with the customers directly. Yes, you're going to obviously super serve them. But if you're scaling an organization, you need to super serve your employees, because those are the people that are going to not only believe in your vision, but they're going to be the ones that are they're the ones that are going to be the ambassadors of your company. They're the ones that are going to be a representation of your organization, right? I mean, that's just me. Well, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I feel like that's important as a business owner.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Like, what do you do with your employees? I mean, how do you?
Yeah, let's focus on training. So when AI came out last year, like mainstream, what we did, and going back to the training point, what we did, we invested in training on AI. So Pavel, who is our CTO, he is doing and leading research and development around AI. So his job was to identify the training, enroll, go over it, learn, and then implement across all of our core developers, so they are educated. So it starts from the leadership. It's not that we send employees for training and we don't learn. We learn. And then I have a session accountability with Pavel, and I'm like, bro, what have you learned?
Right. Exactly.
Because now you need to teach me. And that's how it works. It's an ecosystem. So one guy, executive, goes and learns. In this case, he's a CTO. And then he basically propagates, bubbles down this knowledge to all of the players, all of the employees that we want to train. And then they go and spread that knowledge and implement for our clients.
Right.
Does that make sense? But it costs money. It costs time. It costs energy. But if we don't do it, it will not start from the bottom up. It will start from the top down.
At the Vision Room, I want to just reiterate for our guests, our people that are watching, we're all about helping business owners take their vision and do the best thing they can possibly do with that vision by filling in the gaps between vision and being on stage out into the world. So it's taking that vision and bringing it into reality. So that's our goal. Every time we talk on this podcast, we're going to give you the things you need to just give you the best chances of success as you're casting your vision and turning it into reality out there in the marketplace. So today, what we're going to be talking about again is the power of process and automation, the power of a framework that you can set up for yourself. And we love giving you tools, resources, tips, all those things. Marcin and I are passionate about giving you the answers you need so you can execute, right? I mean, Marcin, this is the whole point of why we're doing this, right? Because what I found, and tell me your experience, I found that the most frustrating thing for a lot of business owners is they have this vision, they have this knowledge, they have this passion to help someone, but sometimes they don't know how to piece it all together. They don't know the steps, they don't know the frameworks or the best resources or the tools or the AI automations to super serve their customers. That's what we're all about in this podcast. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm agreeing on a lot of things with you, Marcus, because we've worked together for a long time. And what I want to add to it is ABI, something that I've learned from William, part of the same group. Always be iterating. Like with this podcast, we're doing the second episode, and as you can see, we're improving. Marcus has improved a lot. I love his microphone. Love his background.
This setting is temporary because this is at my friend's office, but I am taking my stuff. Yeah, I'm rebuilding this stuff at my house.
But still awesome. Great job. And
thank you.
Before this podcast, going back to execution, resources, materials, collateral, and knowing the process, the knowledge, basically the know-how, the plan.
Right.
You guys can see what we're doing here. We didn't start perfect. Marcus didn't have a perfect camera. I didn't have the perfect camera, the perfect microphone, the perfect talk points, and all of that. We're doing that authentically, and we're improving as we go. ABI, always be iterating. And with that,
that's right.
I'm bringing this up because it's not going to be perfect. And we were talking about execution. The difference between a big company and an idea is execution. And this is exactly it. I had a dental surgery. That's why I'm kind of talking weird. But
didn't even notice.
And I'm still healing. I still have this mouthpiece on the roof of my on the roof of my mouth. It's in there. So that's why I'm kind of talking weird like that. But
it's okay. No one's going to notice except everybody you just told.
Right. But my point is, why am I bringing this up? It's because there will be obstacles. There will be things that I said to Marcus, because Marcus is like, Marcin, we need to record another episode. And I'm like, I love this because you have accountability partner. He's like, and also we split work. So Marcus found this platform. He created because he's very creative, he created the name for the podcast, which is awesome, the Vision Room. I love it. And then I bring the piece that's required as well, to the table. I think the speed, the kind of roughness sometimes, because it's not always like the perfect ideal world. Sometimes you need the rough guy, the storm. Sometimes, like it's the perfect weather, and then the storm comes, and then the weather comes back, the sun comes out, right? I'm the storm. I make a lot of mess. I make moves, and I shake things out. And I'm like,
you are a mover shaker. You're the best networker I know.
Oh, thank you.
So, hands down. And so you super serve your customer. That's another thing that you're really strong at.
Thank you. So speed is key for me.
Yeah.
But I need to be surrounded by resources, by the team, like Marcus, senior executives and senior brand architects who can, after the storm, the sun comes out and the weather is beautiful again, at least in California, where Marcus is, and where in Florida, where I am. So that's how it works.
Oof.
And Marcus, so let me wrap it up on this point. You guys will see this podcast. Every episode that we do will be better in terms of quality, in terms of the content, in terms of the points that we're making. And this is exactly what I'm communicating. This will be the same thing in your business. Obstacles, again, surgeries, something will happen, power outages, family stuff, projects, client canceling on you, and all of that. But we still made it happen. Again, we had an obstacle, we went over it, and we have a team. It's not just me, it's me and Marcus and the whole team behind us. And we also go and we have advisors and we learn from them every week. We're on a cadence. And that's why we want to pass this knowledge, because we're experts in something that, frankly, most of the business people don't care. Why? Because it's details. You're focused on the vision. On the vision, yeah. But
hence the vision room.
Right. But who's gonna, Marcus, but who's gonna take care of the details? The resources, the team, the plan.
That's right. So let's talk through that. So thank you, Marcin. I want first to say, again, whoever's watching this, you're getting to know us. I'm the brand guy. I build the thing. I build the house. In our mastermind group with Will, he actually tells people about what I just say, or what I say about this is the house is it's the look, tone, and feel. It's the internal culture. It's the your website. It's your products. How to productize your services clearly, so it's not a jumbled mess, but it's clear. So when people interface with you and they understand what you do, or when they meet you, you can easily articulate that. The hardest thing that people, I'm going to just say before we get into process, the hardest thing for me as a business owner that services people's branding needs, a lot of times what's hard for me is to have to, the education portion of my business, where I have to educate and articulate what I do every time I meet someone, and it takes a little bit of education. So I'm going to try to wrap this up in this podcast, where I want to explain this. So what I do personally is I help make it easy for marketers to market your company. I make it easy for people to understand what you do. And there's a whole laundry list of things we do to make that happen, right? But I put rocket fuel on the marketing. And then, so you got the house and then you got the road, right? The road is the marketing. The road is, oh, by the way, the technology is part of the branding, because good technology is a part of a good process, a customer experience. If you neglect the available technologies that are at your disposal today, you're missing out on a heap of opportunity. And so what we're trying to do is tell you guys out there that if you're a business owner, you have that vision. It's your job to keep that vision on course and lead your people well. It's our job to articulate that vision and execute on it through brand, technology, and marketing. And so, I don't know. I just wanted to say that so people understand what we do. I want to get into the discussion points. So the power of process and automation. The power of process and automation. So one of the things we want to talk about is why processes are crucial for scaling your vision. Why are processes so crucial for scaling your vision? You want to take a whack at it, Marcin? Why are processes?
Yeah, of course. So let me just kind of maybe go one level higher. Okay. When I look at any business, it's all about 5 elements: people, product, processes, sales, and marketing. Now, the vision has to be even higher than all of that. And the branding needs to be concise. And also it needs to be, what's the word when everything needs to be
Cohesive.
What's another word for that we always use?
Um,
Like you have the same fonts, for example, like it needs to match. Forgot the word.
Consistent.
Consistency, correct. Because imagine that you're using different fonts, for example, and I see it all the time. You use different fonts, different colors, because you don't know, you're not consistent. You don't know really, like what's your messaging. And by the way, colors, that's visual language. Images, the way you dress, the way you communicate. And in terms of the process, so I named five elements. So process, it's really important. Why? Because you cannot scale chaos. You cannot scale chaos.
Yes.
You need to have a process. You work on this process. Maybe you've consulted advisors. You already have manual process that works. Again, that need to be perfect. So many times for me as an entrepreneur, I thought I need to be perfect. No, I just need to do ABI, which I alluded to earlier. Always be iterating. Because you are an expert in your vertical, in your industry. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in business. That's an assumption that I make. And then we come to the picture, and we can help you. So in terms of the process, Marcus, and automation, because that's our key theme here, the process for me is one of the 5 most important elements. And the process is for consistency and for scaling. And when you have the process, then it's easier to add all the different layers like AI, automation, integrations, and all of that. Because otherwise you're scaling chaos. And that's the point.
Exactly. So here's another question, Marcin, because you're a pro at process and automation, because you build products. Okay. How, in your experience, does automation free up time to focus on growth and creativity?
That's a great question. If you don't have a process and if you don't have a system, then you're wasting a lot of time and you're introducing a lot of friction, errors.
Yeah.
And process is one thing. Technology helps you execute this process seamlessly. And then you can stack up. So think about it as a foundation of a house. The foundation has to be really strong, and then you stack up layers on top of it.
That's stack up for those that don't know Polish.
Yeah. What did I say?
Stock up.
Yeah. What,
I love,
like,
but you're
like stacking layers, adding layers.
Stack. That's right.
No, you're right. You're right. So adding layers. Imagine adding layers on top of the foundation.
Yeah.
And then when you add layers, you can optimize your process. You can like, for example, think about, I like the analogy of a building or a pizza. I have 2 analogies that I use with my clients very often. Let's do a pizza analogy that I love. You know, when you eat pizza, you have the dough, which is the base. Is the base always the same or not? Most of the time, the dough.
Most of the time, it's the same.
It's the same. The ingredients are the same, right? It's not that you change the ingredients, the amount. It's pretty much the same.
Pretty much.
Same with technology, same with business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, a good example, charity booster, great example, right? The so we had a client. Hi, Chris. A client that was very frustrated actually with um, how he was manually serving his clients. He didn't have really a strong. He did have a process, but it was a really clunky process. And so, what Marcin and I, the problem we had to solve was how can we automate this process to help him serve his clients? Um, and we came up with one. And now he's rolling. He is rolling. He is we basically automated the entire front. Basically, what the Charity Booster does is provides products that help nonprofits raise money at auctions. And so he's manually doing that. So we basically automated the whole thing, worked with him, strategized with him exactly how to put a process together. And now he's just cashing checks. And what he's able to do now is because of automation, he's able to take his focus off of the monotony of his clunky system before, and now because we were using technology to automate this process, he can now just focus on serving his customers.
So let's break it down, Marcus. What did we do specifically? How did it start? And let's on the real example, because we will not be talking here just about fluff. We made an introduction, but we'll be talking about specific case studies of our clients.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So why don't you break it down? Why don't you break it down? Because I mean, we work together on it. So
yeah, I wanted to introduce you to to initiate this, because you started with branding, design,
okay,
and then we came into the picture as technology partners, and we worked with you to align on what will be executed. Because again, people have this huge vision, and it's easier to put it on the design sometimes than translate everything, like the whole vision, into technology. So that's why ABI, it's really.
So I will begin by saying that we started with a brand workshop. We dissected who his customers are, what the vision is, what is the pain points, what are the problems that he's facing. If you want to learn more about brand workshop, you can go to my site. I can get on a call. I can tell you what it is, but it's, go to meazzo.com. I'm just plugging, but meazzo.com, and we'll put a link in the show notes. Always when we're talking about stuff, we'll always put links in the show notes so you have access. So we do the brand workshop. We have a clear picture of how we're going to say things, what we're going to say, who we're going to say them to, why we're in business, all those things, mission, vision, all that.
And then Marcus, why is it needed? And businesses sometimes they might think, oh, but I already have it, so why do I?
No, if you have it, great. What you need to do is document it and create a system on how to communicate that. You have to create a system. So how you do that is you can do what is called a brand voice matrix of when we are communicating a certain thing, how are we going to say it? Who are we saying it to? How do we break it down and have that consistent? It has this consistency going on. We have this consistent way of saying things where it's not just I don't know if you've ever seen this. You go to someone's website, it says one thing, then you go to an ad, it says a completely different way of saying it. You see a poster, it's completely different. Now, you can have a variety of how you say things, and that's okay. But if these things are completely incongruent on how you're saying things, you're going to have a lot of market
congruency, consistency. That's the key theme that I see across branding.
Right.
And then where you come in.
You don't want to confuse them. So you have to have intention. You have to have some type of documentation how you're saying things. So your people know what to say, even from the sales scripts to how you greet people to how you communicate your brand on ads, on websites. You have to have that documented. or you'll lose.
Oh yeah,
You'll lose focus.
documentation is such an important part that I hear many very very experienced businessmen, entrepreneurs, business owners, they regret not documenting processes earlier and kind of piling up on introducing and scaling chaos again.
That's right. That's right. That's why brand guides are so crucial, especially now. I'm not just talking about style guides where you put your colors down. I'm talking about how are we going to say things on the web? How are we going to say things in social media? Document a good brand guide should include those things.
Okay,
It
so
should include,
one element, if a business doesn't have the business doesn't have consistency, congruency,
Mhm.
you would start with a branding workshop, and that's what we did for Charity Booster. That's what you did.
That's what we did. That's what we did. We broke it all down and we documented what we were going to do, how we're going to say things.
What was the next step after that?
The next step was obviously we did the branding, brand identity work, all that.
Why is it needed? Where does it lead to?
Oh, okay. So brand identity work. Well, how are you showing up consistently? So we first worked on what we're going to say consistently. What is our guidepost of who we're going to communicate to, how we're going to say things, how we're going to show up on the web. What is our brand voice? A brand voice is a personality. It's like, how are we going to, what's the styling of how we're going to say things?
So Marcus, let me stop you here. So consistency and number two, for our listeners, viewers, being deliberate, being intentional from what I hear. That's the
being
second
intentional.
reason.
Yeah. The third thing is journey maps. So then we start breaking down, okay, Chris, right now, tell me what is the process of delivering the final product to the customer?
Chris or Mr. Customer, or think about yourself in this picture.
Yeah, I'll just say Chris because we're talking about Charity Booster. So it's like, so Chris, give me the whole scope of how we're how we're delivering the products from the first initial phone call to here's your auction prize or whatever, the product that you just bought from the auction. What does that look like? So we mapped it all out, and then what we did is looked at it, put it in front of us, and go, okay, now how can we automate this process? How can we use technology and the web and AI and whatever to make this process as smooth as pie, right? It's just smooth process that would require the least amount of customer interaction. Obviously, customer interaction is huge, but putting it in the right spots where it doesn't bottleneck the process. And then we designed that. We created that through what is called a customer journey map and a feature grid, which is okay.
And that's where guys, just so you know, that's where technologists come into picture, because they need to feed into the features that answer to goals.
That's right. So once we had that, and again, back to intentionality, I have a process of how to do this. So I took my process I built for myself and did that for Chris. And it was easy because I knew what I was doing. I know my processes, so I was able to do that and walk that Chris through that very seamlessly. And then what I did is I took that and I handed it to Marcin, and then we worked together to create a feature list of what was needed to execute on this system that we were creating. And then now you can take over, Marcin, because now this is in your field here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when Marcus says that he handed over to me, it's not just me. It's obviously a team of people. We have 20, 25 people at any given time, and a few people were assigned to the project. Usually, it's a tech lead that gathers all the requirements and works with the client, with Marcus, so with the creative team, with the client, to again align on the goal. What's the goal? And what are the features that are going to answer to this specific goal that we're problem that we're solving, or the goal that we want to achieve? So it's again, we're iterating. And this process of iteration takes time. And so the way it works, Marcus calls it, what did you say? The journey maps.
Journey maps.
We
customer
call
journey maps.
we call them interactive mockups. Design.
Oh no. Those are separate. So the journey map is what taking a customer from the phone call all the way to delivered products. What you're talking about is the prototypes, right?
I'm talking about
you're talking about
right. But the prototypes fall into this process because
okay.
Because we're then creating the process for the customer, meaning for the end customer. So Chris is our customer in this case.
Yes.
And we need to communicate with him because he then checks every step of the way of this journey, this path, this process.
That's right.
And now we're implementing. And when we're implementing, now we have roadblocks, because very often the creative team, like Marcus, his goal is not to be limited. Obviously, it would be awesome if he was aware of, okay, this is the tag limitation. And I'm bringing this up because this will be the case for sure. Every project, every custom project that we do, it has the same thing. And Marcus's job is not to be limited. Marcus's job is
Right. And that's part of the process, right? So what we're talking about, guys, is we're talking about our process to create a process for our customer. So some people are going, okay, well, when are you going to get to the process? Well, we're talking about our process and showing that if we have a process to serve our customers, that's showing that we're not having to reinvent the wheel every time, right? Because this is a proven way of doing things on how we built really, we built some pretty complex online products together. And so anyways, I just want to state that point. Go ahead, Marcin, keep going.
And I'm describing this process here because the creative Marcus or the creative team, they design, and then we come in and we bring this we bring a frame to it,
right?
And we're like, ooh, that's gonna cost this much. Now the client is scratching his head. Oh, maybe we're gonna eliminate that.
But stop right there, Marcin. I'm gonna stop you right here because this has been that pain point with a lot of customers. If this process costs $100,000 to build, but it would render in the first year $2 million, would you pay that $100,000?
Oh yeah, if the value exceeds price, there's no question.
And usually it does, because yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to.
Yeah, we're building infrastructure, guys, and this is not just being. I don't use the word stupid, but that's the word that I think of. It's not.
Minions at work.
It's not throwing spaghetti on the wall. This is a deliberate design. We're designing something that then will be implemented, and from that there is infrastructure that will be used, and you can still mold it over time. So it's not that set in stone. Like McDonald's, for example, have they changed their process? Yes, they have. But the core product, like burgers, are still there. Have they added products? Yes, they have. Milkshakes, and they have been iterating. They still do. But there is this core product, okay? And McDonald's, to me, or Chipotle, is a beautiful illustration of a process of automation in place. Think about when you go to Chipotle. It's a very, very specific process. And very, very quick relatively healthy food, right?
You're making me hungry. I haven't had lunch.
Oh, me neither, Marcus. So on that note,
Got to work on that process.
on that note, does that make sense, Marcus? I love McDonald's and Chipotle because everyone can relate to them.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. What's crazy is people don't believe the amount of money they can make sometimes if they just stop for a moment and create some type of system.
Totally, dude. I
They don't
agree
believe
100%
it
with that.
at all. They go, "Oh, it's so much money." I know. But if you're all, let me just say this. Oh, I'm going to ask you a question. Say that a guy's making, say, $10,000. Let's say he's making $500,000 a year doing the manual doing it manually,
Mm-hmm.
right? What do you think the average multiplication would be if he was able to automate it? What do you think? Like if he's making 500,000, would he make double if he automated it?
So let's say he's making five. So we have a guy and is making 500K in revenue, and then
And he's doing it manually. He doesn't have automation.
he's doing a lot of. So number one, if he's doing it manually, he's probably introducing errors. So there are errors in the process. Number two, he needs to, if he wants to scale this, the manual process, he needs to hire someone, train them, recruit them,
Yep.
and then those people, if they ever get sick, I think you got disconnected for a minute, but you're here.
That's okay. Keep going. It's saving on our local machines and then uploading it.
Okay, awesome. So you see, we have a process here as well.
We have a process. Yeah.
So Marcus, we have a guy, 500K. Now he's doing the manual work. He's making errors. He gets frustrated because stuff doesn't work. It's not on time. There's so much friction. And now he needs to hire someone to do this manual work that people don't want to do. I posted on LinkedIn. I posted about AI. I don't know if you've seen this post that I made on LinkedIn. I said, I love AI. You know why? I love AI because it's going to eliminate friction and a lot of jobs that people do is not because of entrepreneur. It's not because of the worker that does the job and hates this job, this manual job. It's because of the entrepreneur that didn't innovate. And so because of that, you might even lose this very talented person that could have improved, that could have scaled your business if there was right process and automation in place. And guess what? Most of the time, people who are good at their job, they don't even have the time because they're busy on projects, clients. It's your job as the business owner. And I know that's a lot, but that's the job of a business owner. It's your job.
It's your job to set up systems. It's your job to let people that you hire do the things they love doing.
Let's talk about resources, Marcus. So let's say we already talked about our process and we explained on a real example of a client how we've successfully iterated and implemented those processes. And we'll be giving you more client cases on different podcasts. Today we talked about Chris and charitybooster.com. You guys are more than welcome to go to their website and check them out.
It's a great service.
And Marcus,
shout out to Chris.
And Marcus, I wanted to wrap it up with. So, as I said,
so you have the customer journey map. You've received the things from me. Now technology. Now you're creating the product. You're doing the prototypes, and then you test, right?
And you do ABI. Always be iterating. So even with this podcast, we have a process. Yeah, that's a great process. But you know what? Execution. Then that's something that we talked in the first podcast. Execution.
MVP. Get it out. Execute.
MVP. Explain what's MVP because we have so many shortcuts. Minimum viable product.
minimum viable product. The thing is, here's a quote. Ready? Your 80% is people's 100%. Your 80% is people's 100%. And so like you think, oh my gosh, this has to be perfect when it's out. Well, not necessarily. Now it should be good. It should be 80% because it'll be usually people's 100%. We are always our worst critic. And so what you want to do, I fumbled so many times. I delayed my success so much because of my perfectionistic attitude. It will never get you anywhere, and people won't notice the things that you think matter. And it's funny is sometimes the things that you think don't matter do matter. So you also have to measure, right? You have to, and the only way for you to know that is to get it out there, get it tested, get people looking at your stuff live on, out there in the open. Obviously, you don't want to ship crap because that's, Steve Jobs is all about that. Don't ship crap. You don't want to ship crap, but it won't ever be perfect. And you're also not a multi-billion-dollar company like Apple is. So you just got to get it out there. Because I'll tell you right now, the first stuff that they, started with, was it perfect? I don't think so. I don't think it was perfect.
No, they iterated. So Marcus, you also mentioned about resources. And I want to, again, because we provide services for our customers for branding, architecture of the whole solution, and then technology, consulting, CRM, that we will go and create another podcast just for the CRMs and why it's important. But that's where we can help you, and we'll be basically on every podcast. We'll be bringing guests, we'll be bringing solutions, we'll be touching on very important subjects like dashboards, CRMs, KPIs, what's important for your business to scale and grow, and the processes. You'll get to know us, but also if you ever need resources, we are here, and we can always refer you our resources. So get in touch.
And I will say, speaking of that, we're probably going to have a mastermind called the Vision Room, where we're coaching entrepreneurs through their startup phase. Or if they have a medium-sized business, they want to take it to the next level. That's what we're going to be doing as well. I had our first mastermind without you today, Marcin. I brought two friends into a room, and we talked about, I do this exercise called Rosebud Thorn, and we had them break down their bottlenecks. What was their frustrations? What was keeping them from moving forward? It was, one was nailing down a marketable product, nailing down if what I'm offering, my friend coaches men on to be intentional men, and he actually works with men that are having issues with pornography. And when you're stuck in that state of mind and you're shackled by the pornography and whatnot, it's very hard to have a healthy lifestyle. It's very hard to be confident because you are under oppression with this issue. So he's trying to figure out what angle. I feel like the guys that come into my lead gen, or the people that are coming on, are having a hard time seeing the value of paying for what I'm helping them with. And I said, dude, you have to find an angle. You have to find a hook that feeds their pain point, that satisfies or that meets a deep desired need that they want to tackle. They have to be able to look at your product and go, that what he's helping me solve is worth it for me to pay X amount of dollars. And it's your job to articulate that. So you have to reverse engineer that. And so that's one of the things we were talking about. The other thing is he was just having a hard time creating a system A/B split test his ads, things like that. I can go on forever. There was like literally 20 things we talked about in that meeting. It was great. But the point I'm trying to make is this: we want to be here as a resource, not only online, but we're eventually going to have something that's more of an intimate group coaching session that we're going to be talking about these things in a group setting. And so, anyways, let's wrap this up, Marcin, because I know that we could talk for hours on this stuff. We want to encourage you guys today. We explored we talked a little bit about automation. We talked about the value of that. We talked about solid processes that can elevate your brand. We talked about that it takes intention and it takes systems to grow your business. And until you realize that is something you have to do, you'll stay stuck for a long, long time. And you'll finally go, dang, I think I need to invest. I think I need to invest in a system, or at least, and it doesn't have to be a big, complicated system. CRM, that one word could drastically change the course of your business growth. Wouldn't you agree, Marcin? Just a CRM alone.
Totally. You have to start somewhere. And I'm going to wrap this up as well.
Yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed. We're here to help and seek help. Don't be afraid. I touched on that during our first episode. Don't be afraid. And I even mentioned my personal story, why I was able to actually learn the importance of asking for help professionally and seek counsel. And there are people who are like Marcus. And the other day I was saying, Marcus, why do you give away 1 hour complimentary consultation? Like, that's a lot. Like, your time is so valuable. So like, why don't you like limit it to 20 minutes if there's a new person that wants to talk about certain elements where you can come in and help. And so ask for help. We're here, we're the resource, and we can also refer resources to you. We want to connect with us. Relationship.
And if we're not the right people and you're not at that stage yet to be able to pay us for what we could help you do, we will find someone that will be able to help you. So we just want to help. So
that's right.
Because you have a vision. You have a vision. You have a vision, hopefully, to help people or provide the world something that they actually need. And so if we can help as many business owners do that in a noble way, that's who we want to help. So Marcin, I think that was a good second session. I think there's some blunders and stuff. Who cares though, right? We're just putting it out here.
ABI, always be iterating.
But we do want to build a great product. We do want to create great podcasts and media. So please, we want to build a community. We're going to start that soon. We'll let you know. Please put in the comments what we could do to make this better for you. We will always be listening to those that are listening without losing our personality, because we want to be very also casual and not take ourselves so seriously,
Authentic.
So that's right.
Awesome.
So thank you again. We'll put some stuff on the show notes to help you start your processes, your automations. We'll give you some tips, some tools that we think is pretty great that we're using. And so thank you so much, Marcin, for being on this journey with me. And thank you for all who are listening. Please, if you feel that this is valuable, please 5-star us, subscribe, do whatever, because that really will help us bring up the ratings.
Comment, share. Let's go.
as everybody else in the podcast world talks about. But we're going to say it because we know that it's our intention and our process to get this thing out. So
Thanks again for listening, and see you soon.